we thought it's just so important for us to meet and dialogue with public officials about the issues that are really important to us. We did invite all the candidates, but we have 3 very important candidates here, so we are thrilled to have this opportunity to talk with them in detail about clean energy. And we're also very, very delighted to have Mike Wildhocker, who is the director of the Schuylkill Environmental Center.
Businessman Tom Wolf, Congresswoman Allison Schwartz. Katie, question over here.
My question is, when you talk about solar panels and the energy efficiency that it brings to a home, but what about an area like, I'm a Philadelphia resident, I live in West Philadelphia, it's densely populated, older row homes, so how does solar paneling roll out for those kind of populated areas?
Yes, I have 2 ideas. One of those, I remember reading an article, and it was like a photovoltaic or something. It was a film, and you could almost wrap things and capture the sun. So you could maybe have something developed that would laminate to your windows and capture the sun, and at least run some small appliances or your television, something of that nature. And the other thing that can be done that I have seen, which I thought was really a cool idea, would be in your parking lots. Now I know you have a lot of parking garages here, but you do have some parking lots as well. And they could be encouraged to put up the larger solar panels, which would also provide some shelter from the snow that you could park under, and you could capture energy, and they would be able to sell that back into the grid. I think parking lots are a great place to be able to expand solar energy, at least in the cities if they have parking lots.
I was interested, I guess about 2 or 3 years ago, there was a huge interest in the shale digging here in Pennsylvania. And I don't hear anything about it now, and I think a lot of farmers were losing their land because these companies were coming into different parts of Pennsylvania trying to dig with, you know, the shale digging. So I wanted to know what kind of impact, if this is approved, the shale, I think it has to do with petroleum. How is this going to impact on the energy usage?
We're fracturing the shale, so fracking is the word that we
Fracking, all right.
I can imagine you folks don't have thoughts on fracking. That's kind of the 800-pound gorilla on the environmental side of things. Governor Corbett was under lots of pressure to put a tax on the people who do the fracking. So we sidestepped tax, and now we have an impact fee. So that's better than perhaps where we have been, but one of the big intense discussions was the impact fee meaningful enough for Pennsylvania? So that's another context.
Surely. When it comes to Marcellus Shale, this is one of the issues that I part with on Governor Corbett big time. First of all, a disappearing fee is just not cutting it. Just like all the other states who have Marcellus Shale in their areas, we need to be taxing it. I've done some research and found that 6% is the median. I would certainly look for something in that area. Next, we need to close the Delaware loophole, because if companies are registering in Delaware, they're not paying their full share of taxes in Pennsylvania, and that means you and I are picking up the tab. Next, we have something called a KOZ, a Keystone Opportunity Zone. So that's another area where they can take advantage of tax incentives. And while that's all fine and good, a lot of the jobs for the people are not from Pennsylvania people. They're from people from out of state. And that doesn't seem fair. So they need to pay their fair share. We need a Marcellus Shale tax. Further, in the beginning, conservation districts would go out and inspect. I propose that our conservation district people, again, should be the boots on the ground to inspect the farms where most of these wells are located, because they're out there inspecting conservation plans anyhow. If they find a problem, they can report it to DEP, and DEP can do either a follow-up inspection or, based on the documentation submitted, handle the negotiations to get it cleaned up or whatever. Next, if there are people who have violated repeatedly with their company, I think we should pull their license to do business in Pennsylvania and send them packing. There's going to be good companies and there's going to be bad companies. We want the good companies doing business here, if they're going to be here, And that just protects our environment for future generations of Pennsylvanians. So again, we have local conservation district who know the people, who know the farmers, who are also familiar with the geology, all of these things together. And there's other things I could go into, like bundling of deeds, and when filing at the Recorder of Deeds office, it complicates research, and educating, having conversations on Marcellus, which our Watershed Association did, to educate your local citizens on how not to accept the first offer when someone offers you a Marcellus, a lease. I mean, that's ridiculous. It favors them only. So there's so many other things that we can do. The zoning's a good one, but I'll stop with that because I could go on quite some time. Thank you.
Yeah.